Okay, let's talk about it.
0.83% loss. Came back, stopped me out, and then did the move. Okay, well, price came back and stopped me out. I've made 1% today.
It's been tough. I've learned a lot. And I said it was going to be an exciting month, and we're halfway through, and it's it's exciting, maybe in not the way that I hoped or planned or thought was going to happen. However, we are still okay. At the end of the day, it's all about learning in this game. So, what I have learned is a lot of data. Data that I've gathered, I've back tested, forward tested, and this is live data over 26 trades since the 1st of April. So, let's go through the data. I even wrote it down. Right. Book of data. If you guys don't have data, right, if you don't have data about everything that you've got, then you need to question how don't you know the data. All right, so let me just go through the data with you. So these are all trades originally a 1 to 2, going off a 1 to 2. I did a period of a 1 to 3, and that's, well, you know the story behind that. Just watch a couple of videos back anyway. But this is the data that I've got, all starting from a 1 to 2. So a 1 to 2 out of 26 trades, 110, lost 8, broke even on 8, right? The win rate of a 1 to 2, that ones that went straight to 1 to 2. So my break even on a 1 to 2 was at a 1 to 1, right? So 38% of the time, price would I would enter and it'll go straight to 1 to 2. No comebacks to break evens. 30% of the time, it would just lose straight away. And the other 30% of the time, it would be a break even before going to 1 to 2 or whatever. But obviously that'll be like 31% and 31% because obviously the maths won't make sense, would it? So if you look at the data like that, 1 to 2, let's call it 62% of the time is either going to be a loss or a break even. Let me repeat that. 62% of the time is going to be a loss or break even. Now, that might be completely fine because at the end of the day, it still made 12%, which is more than the other ones I'm about to go over, right? Still made 12% over 26 trades since the 1st of April. So that's 6 trading weeks, right? So that is 30 trading days. Pretty impressive. Completely fine, right? Completely fine. This is where my results were a bit mixed match. Obviously, you already know I passed phase 1. That's already 10% done. So we've covered that bridge, right? We've got that bit. We're on phase 2. A little bit of DD at the moment, a little bit of DD, but nothing too scary. Nothing that I already haven't had to fight before and got through. So it's entertaining for you and also going to be very educational at the same time. And hey, here's the reality of trading, guys. It's not going to be all sexy. So let me go over the other thing. That is a 1 to 2 going break even at 1 to 1. Now, the next 2 examples aren't going to go break even. They're just going to be ride or dies. Bear that in mind. Right? So the next statistics, right? The same trades, but only if I went to a 1 to 1 and obviously not partialing or breaking even. So 1 to 1 statistics. We won 70% of the trades. So we had a 70% win rate and we lost 30%. And it made 10% in that same time period. So going for half the results and not going to break even, our win rate went from 38% all the way up to 70%, but we only made 2% less per month. Now, you're probably thinking, well, stick to 1 to 2. However, let me say this. Can your mindset take it? Can your mindset accept that 60% of the time you're either going to lose or get a break even? I'm going to say that again. 60% of the time, you're either going to lose or get a break even. Not very many people can deal with that. They're going to get frustrated with maybe getting a break even. And bear in mind, this is all one trade a day, by the way. Just one trade. And during the London Open, right? Nothing, no trades. All this data was all before 10:30. That's my cutoff point now, okay? 10:30. Stop me doing silly things, which I'll go through later on in the video. So can your mind take losing well, not losing, but it might feel like a loss to you, depending who you are, right? 60% of the time. Probably not many of you, right? Only 38% of the time are you going to be winning straight away 1-2s. So bear that in mind. So with a 1-1, I'm winning 7 out of 10. That's going to be a lot easier to trade mentally than the 1-2s. Yet the 1-2s bring you a higher return at the end, but can you keep doing it till the end? That's the question. That is the thing. Trading is about consistency, but what you can be consistent at. It's kind of like the gym with a diet, right? Yes, you can diet, but can you be consistent with that diet? Because you might lose a load of weight and then not be consistent with it and then balloon back up. So it's kind of like with trading, it's like the boom and busters, right? You make a load of money and you lose it all. You make a load of money and you lose it all. You lose a load of weight and you gain it. You lose a load of weight and you gain it, right? But what can you be consistent at? And obviously your mindset needs to play an important role. So if the data is saying with a 1-1, I'm winning 7 out of 10 times, my mindset is going to be a lot easier to allow me to trade like that than it would be if I'm breaking even or losing 60% of the time. Let that sink in. 60% of the time, you're probably not going to get the result you want. But the odd 40% of the time, you might. All right, so if you're flipping a coin, you're probably going to lose most of the time. Right? That's how I see it. Trading to me is a coin flip, right? If you haven't seen my coin flip video, watch it. If you haven't watched it, I'll just give you a brief example. You get a coin, any coin, you write a W on one side and an L on another side. You flip it 20 times, whatever, and you see what's the average of heads or tails or wins and losses, right? It's going to be roughly 50-50. If you're trading, do you want the odds to be in your favor that day? People are going to be different, right? There's going to be some traders out there that want to do a 1-5s and they don't care that they only win 20% of the time because they still make great money. Not everyone has that mindset to allow it, right? With myself, that's why I like breaking even at a 1-1 because I don't want to turn a 1-1 into a loss, right? Mentally, because if you're on a 400k account, you're floating 4k and now you lost 4k. I can't handle that. I'm a reduce risk, move to break even. Just don't like let that just mug you off. Like obviously it's not the market doing it against me, but that's my mindset and how I think and how I feel. And obviously comment down below if you guys feel the same. But obviously a 1-1, risk 4k, make 4k, but I'm winning 7 times out of 10. So over that 6-week period of 30 trading days, only trading once a day, right? We still made 10%. That's great. That's for 6 weeks. So that's an average of, I think it's like 1.6% a week. It's 1.66% a week. So we'll call that 1.7 technically. We're rounding it up to the nearest 1 or 10 or whatever. So 1.7% averaging a week. As I say, I am perfectly happy with 1% a week. That is mega. I'm happy with 1-2% a month. That's still mega for me, right? But if you can average like 4% or more in a month, then that is a game changer. Like people don't understand what that is. People think that's crap. But if you're looking at a 400k account and you're making 4% in a month, that's a big chunk of change. That is that's 16 G's, man. That's 16 G's. And obviously it's slightly more than that because it's 4.7. So it's another 2.4% of that. So you're looking at roughly just under 7% return in a month. Well, that's 28 G's, man. I mean, that's a lot of kashish. So again, who are you? What's your mindset? Can you take 60% break-evens or losses to get a 2% more return? Could you follow that? Some people can, some people can't. Ask yourself that question. Another thing is, obviously, if I do the 1-1, I'm winning 7 out of 10 times. It's going to be a lot easier for me to be consistent with that reward to risk than it would be for 1-2s purely on the win factor. Yes, I'm sacrificing 2% extra gain, but for me, I'm not looking to make mega returns. As I say, 2-3% in a month. I'm good. I don't need more than that. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need to be on a leaderboard. I don't care. Now, one more thing I did was just, why not? Let's just do the experiment. It was a 0.5% reward to risk, right? So for 1% risking, I'm asking for 50p back, or £1 of risking, I'm asking for 50p back, right? So a negative reward to risk. However, look at the data, right? Same trade, same time period, we won 85% of the trades, right? And we made 7% over that. So again, if you're really bad with losing and you just want to have those wins, then yeah, sure, you can do a negative reward to risk. But for me, it wasn't worth the sacrifice of like needing to win 2 just to come back with 1 loss. And if you have a losing streak, which I did of 3 trades in a row, I need to win back 6 trades after that just to get back to where I was. So it's a bit painful for me. So obviously through my testing, the worst loss streak that I had was 4 losses in a row, right? So doing that it's 3 losses in a row. So doing that when you need to make 6 back just to be where you are isn't good for me. However, you still made 7% over that time, which is fantastic. So again, it's a mindset, but the opposite. So the 1 to 2 is a mindset of, okay, 60% of the time, I'm going to be break even or losing. With the 1 to 1, my mindset is, I'm going to win 70% of the time. Fantastic. I'll take those odds every day. If you're saying I'm going to do the lottery and there's a 70% chance I'm going to win, I'm going to be betting on it. And this other factor is I'm going to be winning 85% of the time, but what my mindset can't handle is I need 2 wins just to get back to where I was after the loss. That's what my mindset can't handle. So it's do I want to lose 60% of the time? Or do I want to have to win double to get back to where I was? And that doesn't sit well with me. So my sweet point at the moment from all this data, right, is the 1-to-1s. Because I'm winning 70% of the time. I'm still making 10% over 6 weeks. And that's only trading once a day up until 10:30. So 2.5 hours of trading a day. Pretty good, right? So that's what I discovered for a lot of pain, right? This 2 weeks has been a lot of pain and a lot of data that's been written down. So if you guys haven't been writing your data down and understanding fully the percentages of your wins, your losses, your break evens, and the end result of that, like that's over 26 trades, right? So it's taken me a long time to get that because I don't trade that much. But you guys definitely need to write down your data to fully understand where you're at. So for me, this month hasn't been a great month. We are down at 2.29%. Now, I did take a silly trade on CPI. I've definitely learnt my lesson. I said, right, I'm not going to trade CPI. What did I do? I traded CPI tonight. And I lost 1.85%. So that is a big, painful kick in the nuts. A big lesson for me. It was clearly a FOMO thing. My emotions definitely got the better of me. That's a factor in that one. So this month is my first negative month on the channel series so far of live trading gold. But it's not too bad. It could be a lot better. That's the annoying thing. I'm not mad about the result because the results, what I got me to this stage, and the whole learning process to get to here is now going to elevate me to the next level because it's fully mapped out. If I don't get a trade by 10:30, I don't trade. I only trade once a day, and I'm going to go for a 1-to-1 because the data says I'm bloody good at it. So that's going to be moving forward, but I had to eat the crap to understand where I went wrong, right? I needed to eat the fat foods to understand, hey, if I eat this, I'm going to get overweight. Let's not do that. I needed to do that to get to where I am now. And I know that's very cliche and it's all very la-di-da, but you guys are going to see the after effects of it, of me going through this process. So this whole month has been testing. Again, we still passed phase 1. We're still on phase 2. We're still in good standards to pass phase 2. But the education side, the learning curve for me has been fantastic. Again, I fully believe that you can't learn anything in a winning period. You only learn through pain and losses in your trading, and it's going to happen time and time again. You're going to have cycles of greatness, cycles of just horrible pits of hell, but after you get through those pits of hell, the greatness just gets better because you learn so much more. Something that hasn't occurred during the good times has occurred now. So now when it happens again during the good times, you can stay relatively good because you've been there before. You can understand the alarm bells, the warning signs. But yeah, so for me, stopping trading at 10:30 is a must. Not trading NFP and not trading CPI. Those days I'm off completely. Not even before 10:30. I'm just off, all right? I've historically gone back through my data and I suck, right? FOMC days, I'm off. I'm not interested in trading news. I don't need to. I'm not after these huge moves that happen during FOMC and NFP anyway. I'm only wanting my one-to-ones. So I'll just wait for a normal day when I can trade that. And I get enough opportunities anyway, not on those huge impact day news. So I don't have to worry about the slippage. So again, guys, go through your data, understand who you are as a person, as a trader. What can you take, right? Can you take breaking even and losing 6% of the time? But when you do win, you make slightly more at the end of the trade sample, right? For me, it was 2% more. However, the trade-off for not making 2% more is I win more percent of the time. So it's consistent for me to follow that plan during tough times. I want to say that again. Follow that plan during tough times, because you will have tough times where you will be break even, loss. Then you get your win. And then you're like, oh, can you do that again and again and again? The data says, yes, keep doing it again because it makes sense. But this is where the human and the robot part that you're trying to build is crisscrossing, right? And it's a very hard, difficult path to go on, but it's going to be worth it. And you're going to see the end results of it, right? Because you can call me out and say, hey, you didn't do this. And I'm like, yeah, fair. Yeah, I did. Like, this is the result of me not following the plan and eating it. And as you're seeing from my results this week of 2.29% down, isn't great, is it? So overall, disappointed with myself, but I've learned a lot. So the pain is worth the lesson. All right. If you have been enjoying it, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you next week for hopefully a lot better results, because it isn't CPI. We haven't got any scary news coming out, which is nice.